Welcome back to our class. This is Physical Science. Okay, for second semester. By the way, I'm Sir PJ Ipasan, your instructor for this subject for this second semester. So, welcome to our class, guys. And so, welcome din sa ating video. Ayan, although wala kayo dito. So, at least, diba, you can you can browse this again and again. You can watch this again and again. If you want to clarify something, okay, just feel free to chat on our GCs. Okay. So, yan. So, kung napapansin natin, so it's a week one. So, basically, we're talking about the formation of the elements, okay, in the universe. Okay. So, kung napapansin natin in the picture, so, can we estimate how many stars are there? Nakita ba yung stars? And malabo ba? So basically, kaya ba natin estimate or nabibilang ba natin yung stars? Siguro estimation pwede, no? So compare your estimation with your classmates. So basically, tanungin din natin yung classmate niyo, no? Kung sa tingin kaya ninyo, ano yung ating estimation about the stars. So can we estimate them? Or can we really count the exact number of the stars in the universe? So na parang masyadong ano na yun, parang malabong makount natin yan. So according to ESA or the European Space Agency, they estimates that there are about 1,022 to 1,024 stars in the universe. Okay. Remember that it is only an estimation. So, ibig sabihin, we can estimate. Okay? We cannot tell their exact number because the stars are countless, right? So kung napapansin na napakalawak ng universe, parang ang hirap naman bilangin isa-isa yan, yung exact niya. But according to the ESA or the European Space Agency, so they estimate that there is 1,022 to 1,024, okay, yung stars na nasa ating universe. Okay. So what is shown is just a very tiny portion of the universe. So, kung mapapansin natin sa ating background is just a tiny portion of the universe. And what is seen is a small fraction of the stars and the galaxies. So, kung naalala niyo yung Earth and Life Science nyo, so sabi nga natin doon, di ba, na yung ating galaxy is a dot. Okay. Yung galaxy natin or yung solar system natin is a dot of our galaxy. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, hindi pa na-explore lahat. Okay, there's a possibility na meron pang ibang galaxy out there. Okay? So, now, if we imagine this, okay, try to look at the sky, okay, while you're lying in the ground. So, minsan ba, tinitingnan, or kaya, kung wala kayong ground, tingnan nyo na lang siya. Minsan, sa gabi. So, you start to marvel at the vastness of the universe. So, minsan ba, na-imagine nyo na kung ilan kayong star, ilan kayong galaxy, ilan kayong constellation na nasa taas. Basically, may mga ganang tao na curious. Ba't kaya may star? Okay? So, ayun yung mga tanong na natin, no, naiisip natin. So, perhaps, okay, while looking at the sky, okay, kung paggabi yan, basically. So, ang daming pwedeng tanong sa isip natin, no? So, possible, paano kaya nagkaroon ng mga star? So, minsan ba naisip nyo, paano kaya nagkaroon ng star? So, paano kaya sila nabuo? O how they are formed? And what keeps them shining? O bakit sila patuloy na kumikinang, sir? What keeps them shining? Buti pa yung star, kumikinang. They're shining, di ba? So, how do they produce energy? So, kung kumikinig sila, ibig sabihin nagpuproduce sila ng energy. So, paano sila nagpuproduce ng energy? Okay? So, basically, yung mga tanong na yan, so sana masagot natin, no, at the end of this module. So, we're going to discuss the formation of elements, the universe, and the properties of the matter. So, it's a week one. So, before we start, ayan yung mga tanong natin kanina, sana maalala pa natin later. So, as the end of this lesson, I'm hoping that we will give an evidence for and explain the formation of the light elements through the Big Bang theory. Okay? Then another, we're going to give evidence and describe the formation of heavier elements during star formation and evolution. And we're going to write the nuclear fusion that takes place in the stars, which lead to the formation of the new elements. And the last one, we're going to describe how elements heavier than iron are formed. So sana at the end of this module, no, matutunan natin yan at yan yung ma-impart sa atin na knowledge. Okay. So, alam naman natin, di ba, si Big Bang Theory during our Earth and Life Science na siya yung the most acceptable theory, okay, kung saan ito daw yung pinagmulan ng universe. So, bakit nga ba siya yung pinagmulan ng universe? So, simple recap about the Earth and Life Science. So, basically, meron siyang mga evidences, okay? Meron siyang i-propose na evidences na totoo na nag-exist ng theory nito, although it's still a theory until now. Okay? So, ano bang meron sa Big Bang Theory? So, the Big Bang Theory states that the universe was formed 13.72 billion years ago as a result of an expansion of a very dense, hot qualis of matter and energy known as the singularity. Okay, so sobrang tagal na pala na itong Big Bang Theory na to, ano? 13.72 billion years ago. So, sobrang tanda na. So, at the same time, so it's just a correction for everybody. Alam kasi natin, pag sinabing Big Bang, it's an explosion. But it's misconception, okay? Ibig sabihin na misunderstood lang yun. It's not literally explode. They did not explode. They are just only expanding and expanding until now. So, kumbaga, kung bumili kayo ng balloon, then inihipan natin. So, parang ganun daw si universe. They are just expanding. Okay? Although the balloon has a limitation, has its maximum strength, okay, definitely they will explode. But our universe is different. It's limitless. Oh, okay. So, ibig sabihin, they are continues to expand until now. Okay? So, they're just expanding, not explosion. Okay? Hindi siya sumabog. Okay? Yan yung kahit ako alam mo natin nung bata pa, di ba? Akala natin may malaking pagsabog daw. Yun yung Big Bang. Okay? Misconception lang yon na dapat may iayos natin siya, may tama natin habang tumatagal. Kasi kaya nga nag-aaral tayo, di ba? To acquire more knowledge. Okay? So, the Big Bang Theory is famously proposed by Father George Henry Joseph Lemaitre. So, napapansin natin, he's a father, he's a priest. But while why he's still studying about science? Okay, so possible so we are in scientific views, guys. So set aside muna natin yung pagiging biblical views natin. Alam naman natin that we are Christian nation. So pagdating sa science, di ba, sabi naman lagi nila, there are always contradiction between the science, the views of science and the church is very much malakas yung nila hatakan, no, different pinaglalaban. Okay, so set aside that natin. So let's give an example. Ito si Father George Edwin. Let's go, priest na siya. So actually, he must believe what is the scriptures all about, kung ano nakasulat doon. But hindi siya naniniwala. So still, he did some observation and experimentation to prove that there's the Big Bang Theory. Kaya na-create niya itong Big Bang Theory. Okay? So, according to this theory, na it was a dawn, ayan, from nowhere, and then biglang nag-expand yung ating universe. So, while it expanding, so nakapag-create yan ng different elements, which is the matter now. Okay, so habang tumatagal yan, it takes a billion years bago na-create yung ating galaxy, hanggang na-form yung ating solar system and nagkaroon ng different planets. Okay? So basically, it takes a longer time kung babalikan natin yung Earth and Life Science natin. Na-discuss naman yan doon, no? Kung gaano katagal. So sabi nga, it's 13.72 billion years ago. Okay. So ganun siya. Nag-expand lang. Kung napapansin natin, so yung curve natin is still expanding and expanding. So habang nag-expand yan, so possible, mas maraming elements yan or maraming formation na nangyari. Okay? So dahil dumadami siya, so, lalong dumadami din yung mga celestial objects natin na nasa outer space. So, ano yung mga observation before the Big Bang? Okay? So, ano yung mga observation na to? Bago yung Big Bang na yan. So, parang ina-accept na kasi natin na Big Bang Theory yung pinagmulan aside from the other theory. So, kasi nga, meron siyang evidences. So, first one, the observation of Henrietta Swan delivered on the Magellanic Clouds, variable stars, provided definitive evidences of the distance of interstellar. So, nakita nila na merong Cepheid variables. So, ano ibig sabihin ng Cepheid variables? So, the Cepheid variable stars are stars that are used for scaling galactic and extragalactic distances. So, how are the Cepheid variables used to measure distance? So, the important feature of Cepheid variable, it allows to be used for distance measurement. So, possible ginagamit siya for distances, no, from the different stars. So, it is the period it's related directly to the luminosity. This relation allows us to work out how much brighter than the sun the star is. So basically, depende sa brightness, no? So sa Cepheid variable ginamit nila as kung gaano kalayo distance, a certain distance meron isa. So sa susunod na star, ano ba gaano ba to kalayo? So they use the Cepheid variables para ma-identify yung brightness. Ibig sabihin, pag diba nakikita natin, pag mas bright yung color ng star, ibig sabihin malapit siya. Okay? Pero pag hindi siya masyadong bright, basically, napakalayo ng star na yun. So, isa yun sa mga observation na nakita nila na, ibig sabihin, hindi siya, nakadepende sa distances ng stars natin na nakita sa universe. Then, another observation, Hubble utilized the Leavitt's discovery. So, yung nagawa ni Leavitt kanina sa unang observation niya, ginamit ni Hubble, ni Edwin Hubble yon. Okay? Para ma-observe niya yung several spiral nebulae, notably the Andromeda and the Trigolum. So, nakita niya tong mga nebulae na to na kung saan supposedly katagalan na discover niya na they are initially our Milky Way. Okay? That are actually a galaxy sa atin ngayon. So, siya yung galaxy natin ngayon. So, hindi pa nila nalaman dati yan. So, ngayon, they're actually at the galaxy. Okay? So, ginamit ni Hubble yung idea, yung discovery ng Leavitt about the distance of the Cepheid variable stars para ma-identify niya na meron ding iba't ibang nebulae, okay, na malapit sa atin, sa ating galaxies. And another, yan, so napapansin natin. So, sabi nga, so parang kumuha siya ng idea na depende sa brightness ng star para ma-identify na malayo siya or malapit yung ating star. Okay? So, another observation is the best. According to Vestus Laper, she was the first to perform the measurements of radial velocities for galaxies. And he discovered that galaxies are redshifted. So, ano ibig sabihin ng redshift na to? Okay, pag sinabi natin redshift, ito yung key concept ng mga astronomers kung saan ginagamit nila yan literally to understand the wavelength of the light as is stretched. So pag na-stretch yung light, okay, na-identify natin kung gaano kataas yung wavelength niya through the spectrum. Okay? So napansin nila na as the light is seen as shifted, so habang nag-shift siya towards the red part of the spectrum, okay, something similar happens to the sound waves. So parang ganun sa sound waves na pag palapit tayo ng palapit, ang nangyari sa wavelength, tumataas yung wavelength. So ganun din yung nangyari. Kaya naging tinawag siyang the redshift. Okay? So si Mr. Sleeper, ayan, siya yung ginamit niya, ni-perform niya yung radial velocities for galaxy. And he discovered that these galaxies are redshifted. Sabihin, nagbabago yung wavelength niya. Okay. Dahil sa wavelength na nakikita natin sa galaxy, kasi lumalayo sila. Okay? O kaya mas malayo or mas malapit. Depende sa sa nakikita nating color sa redshift. Okay? So, ayun yung another observation ni Vestus Lieber. Then, incorporating the premises stated, it was observed that galaxies that are twice as far based from the Cepheid variable stars. Okay, so based dun sa mga naunang statement, mga unang observation, so napansin nila na twice as far, okay, based from the Cepheid. So, sa ngayon, so na-observe nila na yung galaxies ay, 2 beses ang layo niya compared dun sa sinasabi ng Cepheid variable stars. Then, they are moving twice as fast. Okay? Ito naman, twice as fast based from the radial velocity na ginawa ni Edwin Hubble and ni Sleeper. Okay? So the Doppler shift. So this linear correlation is now known as the Hubble's law. So mas kilala siya ngayon nung pinagsama niya yung idea na yon ng Seyfert variables and the distance itself through the radial velocity. Na-create niya ngayon ang tinatawag nating the Hubble's law. Okay, yung ginawa ito ni Edwin Hubble. Kung saan yung state doon na meron daw habang nag-expand, okay, yung universe natin, meron din siyang certain time na nangyari. Ibig sabihin na habang nag-expand siya at a definite time merong nangyari. Okay? So, for seconds, milliseconds na yan, so merong nangyari. So, it's parang mabilisan siyang nangyari or mabilis yung time. At the same time, mabilis din yung expansion. So, habang nag-expand yan, may certain moment na may nangyayari every seconds, okay, during that time. Yun yung na-observe nila. Okay. So, another observation before the Big Bang is through Alexander Friedman. He used Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity to provide a mathematical model for the universe's expansion. So, based doon kay Albert Einstein, o sikat na sikat dito sa Albert Einstein, the theory of relativity, na sabi niya dito, yung time daw is a fourth dimension, the light speed remains constant, then the gravity is curvature of space-time, then faster you move through space, slower you move through time. So, parang contradict. Then, the time slows down around the heavy objects, then gravity travels in the form of waves. So, ayun yung explanation ng theory of relativity. Kasi ginamit yan ni Alexander Friedman, okay, para makapag-create ng mathematical model na which is yung kanina pinakita natin na yun yung model niya na nag-expand yung universe. So incorporate yan sa theory of relativity ni Albert Einstein. So dapat wala siyang nilabag dun sa theory nila. So kaya nagkaroon ng model yung Big Bang theory natin. Which is yung kanina yung first figure na pinakita natin na patuloy siyang nag-expand. Okay? So ano yung mga predictions of the Big Bang theory? So ito yung mga evidences kung bakit tinanggap or inaccept yung ating Big Bang Theory. Unang-una, they are homogeneity. So pag sinabi natin homogeneity of the universe, this means that equal lahat. Okay? Any part of the universe is equal kung anong meron sa other part. Okay? So, meron tayong ginatawag dyan na yan. So, kung anong merong matter meron dito sa pag ating inihipan yung balloon, di ba, napapansin natin, kung anong part meron ditong hangin, meron din sa kabilang part. So, hindi pwedeng walang hangin tong part nito. So, basically, homogeneous, okay? Lahat ng part is merong, the same matter, the same energy. Equal yung cosmic scale niya. Okay, yun yung unang, prediction nila based on the Big Bang Theory. Ayan. So, meron tayo ditong dalawang, pag sinabi natin homogeneity. So, may isentropic and ito yung tinatawag natin homogeneity universe. So, kung napapansin natin sa homogeneity, so, kung ito ay isang galaxy, so, ibig sabihin yung buong box na to, meron ding galaxy sa kada side. At the same time, sa gitna. Kaya tinawag siyang homogeneity. So, isa yan sa mga patunay or evidences ng Big Bang na totoo yung Big Bang. So, homogeneous yung niya, yung composition ng ating or distribution ng different matters and energy in the cosmic scale. Okay? Pangalawang prediction, sabi nila the constancy of the temperature across the universe now, it's around 273 Kelvin, greatly indicates a beginning which can be traced back as predicted by the Big Bang. So another prediction nila or evidence na totoo yung Big Bang is, sabi nila, yung ngayon, yung temperature natin ngayon naging constant na. So dati ganun din daw. Pero hindi ganun, hindi siya the same na 273 Kelvin. So kasi yung 273 Kelvin yan is malamig. Basically malamig na yan. So ibig sabihin dati hindi siya ganun hindi siya ganun yung temperature niya. Naging constant na lang siya dahil sobrang tagal ng panahon. Pero dati hindi. Okay? So basically, ito, papakita natin. So sabi nga natin kanina, every time may nangyayari, okay, well, after the Big Bang, the expansion, so after 10 raised to negative 35 seconds, okay, and yun ng inflation. So ito tumigil ng inflation. So yung temperature natin dyan is 10 raised to 27 Kelvin. So, sobrang init. Okay? Then after 100 seconds, formation of ayan, different hydrogen and helium. So basically, yun yung mga naunang elements na na-create. So it's about 10 raised to 9 Kelvin. So medyo mainit pa rin yung part na yan. Then after 1 month, nagkaroon ng CMB spectrum fix o yung cosmic microwave background radiation kung saan nakita na yun yung first light, which is we will going to discuss this in the next slides. Okay, so ibig sabihin, kung napapansin natin dito, so iba yung temperature hanggang ngayon, okay? Sabihin, habang tumatagal siya, nagbabago yung temperature. So from hot, okay, mainit yan dati during the inflation. So habang tumatagal, ano nangyayari? Lumalamig siya ng lumalamig. So there's a possibility na habang tumatagal, lalong lumalamig yung ating yung universe natin. Kaya napapansin natin sa mga movie, di ba? Na pag wala kang suit, you will going to freeze o nag-freeze ka sa outer space. Wala kang suit. Bakit? Okay, sobrang lamig na doon. Pero dati hindi siya ganun kalamig during the inflation. So kung napapansin natin, it takes thousand of years o kaya billion na nga, di ba? Sa billion of years bago siya nag-cool. Okay, bago siya nag-cool down. So habang tumatagal yan, magkukul pa rin yan. Okay. So isa yan sa mga prediction ng ating Big Bang Theory. Next. Next prediction na ginawa ng Big Bang Theory ay dahil sa different forces na meron sa atin. So the possibility of combining the 3 out of 4 fundamental forces of nature is another prediction of the Big Bang. Okay? So basically, meron tayong 3 forces na nag-act sa universe. So we have the strong force, which is responsible for holding. Okay, so they are the responsible in holding the nucleus atom together. So ibig sabihin, so dahil sa strong force, kaya yung ating nucleus ay they're strongly hold together. Okay, because of the strong force. And the weak force, they are the responsible for radioactive decay. And electromagnetic force naman, they are the responsible for the light, and electric or the magnetic field makes up the strong electroweak force, which theoretically coincides with the physics behind the Big Bang. So, ibig sabihin, isa sa mga prediction nila is na nakita nila tong tatlong forces kung saan meron siyang physics behind. So, kaya sinusuportahan siya. It was accepted as the theory na pinagmulan ng universe natin. So, unang-una, dahil nga sa merong strong force to, meron siyang weak force, at the same time, merong electromagnetic force. Okay? Then, the fourth force, which is gravity, is yet to be unified with the three, which will provide us the theory of everything or the grand unified theory. So, the first three forces govern the physics of atoms, known as the quantum mechanics, while the gravity govern the physics of interstellar object, which is the general relativity. So, ibig sabihin, hindi nila, ito yung mga physics behind. Okay? So, kailangan kasi may explanation physics behind. So, it's one of the parang requirements nila na dapat meron kang ma-explain the physics behind that, na wala dapat siyang may nako-contradict or may nakatamaang idea ng ibang scientists, which is mas tama yung nagawa nila dati. Kaya they accepted the Big Bang Theory as the pinagmula ng ating universe. Okay? And another prediction, the distribution of light elements and their isotopes across the universe is what solidified the Big Bang as the currently accepted theory of the origin of the universe. So basically, yung punot dulo talaga kung bakit nila na-accept to is the distribution of light elements and their isotopes across over the universe. So basically, yun talaga yung malakas na ebidensya nila or patunay or na totoo yung Big Bang kasi yung mga light elements niya, okay, they are and their isotopes is kalat siya, okay, sa buong universe. So meron silang nag-solidify. Okay, na napatunayan na totoo yung Big Bang, kaya siya tinanggap siya ngayon as the origin of the universe. So lahat ng prediction nila yan ay nagawa nila because of the cosmic microwave background radiation or the CMB. So si cosmic microwave background radiation, it was discovered by George Gamow. And so ito daw yung remnant of the early stages of the Big Bang, also known as the afterglow of the Big Bang. Kung napansin natin kanina, it's about 10 seconds. Okay, nagkaroon ng different, no? Different, ano, elements. Then, after 1 month, ayan, na napansin nila yung CMB, which is it daw yung afterglow of the Big Bang or the first light present in the universe. So, kung makikita natin sa ating figure, ayan, na yung mga different yellow and the red color, ito yung mga unang present na color. Okay? Na nakita nila. Okay? Because of the cosmic microwave background radiation. Okay. So, syempre, kung meron siyang kaya nga patuloy siyang inaaral hanggang ngayon. At the same time, bakit kung marami naman pala siyang evidence, bakit theory pa rin siya? Hindi pa rin siya napapatunayan at hindi siya, kasi hindi siya nakitang nangyari. Basically, yun naman talaga yung dahilan kasi hindi naman, wala pa nang nakakita nung nangyari itong Big Bang. Kaya that's why theory lang. At the same time, kahit may evidence siya, merong nakitaan din siya ng different limitation na hindi niya kayang i-explain. So, unang-unang mga limitation yan, unang-una, hindi niya kayang i-unify, okay, yung general relativity and the quantum mechanics. Ano bang meron sa general relativity? Diba sa general relativity, basically, andon yung ating, yung ating gravity. Let's talk about the gravity. While the quantum mechanics, andun, it talks about the three forces. So, hindi niya kayang i-modify yon or pagsamahin. Okay? So, ayan isa sa mga limitation kung bakit hanggang ngayon theory pa rin talaga to si Big Bang. Then, the physics behind the period of the Great Inflation. So, di ba napansin natin kanina na kung paano nag-inflate yung ating universe, so hindi rin nalang na-explain the physics behind kung bakit nagsimula yun. Di ba? Ba't biglang nagkaroon ng ganun inflation? So, hindi rin na-explain yun. It's a limitation of the Big Bang Theory. Another, the unequal amount of matter and antimatter created after the inflation. So, hindi daw equal yung matter and antimatter created after the inflation. So, gaano ba karami yung matter, dapat ganun din daw karami yung antimatter. Pero ang nangyayari is, hindi siya equal. Okay? So, possibly, there's a lot. Mas marami ba yung antimatter o mas marami yung matter? Okay? Hindi siya equal. Kasi kung sabi kanina, homogeneous, so dapat equal lahat. So, hindi daw. Okay? Another, the existence of the dark energy and the dark matter, hindi pa nila masyadong na-explore to. Hindi na to na-explain. So, ano bang meron dito sa dark energy and dark matter? Although meron tayong nabalitaan na nag-exist na yung dark matter, literally, okay? Pero hindi siya nakikita. Okay, they are invisible. So, ano bang meron sa dark energy and dark matter? So, dark matter refers to the exotic matter that interacts very weakly within the ordinary matter. Its existence has been long suspected, even if it has never been directly observed in the laboratory. It is believed to be the counterpart of matter. So, parang antimatter. So, itong dark matter na sinasabi is antimatter. So, sinabing antimatter, sila yung mga, they are the things that don't have mass at the same time they don't occupy a space. That's why they call it as antimatter. So basically sa atin ngayon, reality. Kung tatanungin natin, ano yung antimatter natin? So tingin nyo, ano yung antimatter natin? Yung hindi nag-occupy ng space at hindi rin wala din siyang mass. So basically, so kung yung sagot ko is shadow, basically tama yon. So shadow is our antimatter. Okay, antimatter natin siya. Okay, kung saan wala siyang mass, hindi rin siya nag-occupy ng space. And dark matter is completely invisible to the light and the others form of electromagnetic radiation, making it nearly impossible to be detected by optical and astronomical instrument. So basically, ang hirap pala natin i-detect nito. Ang hirap pag-aralan. Bakit? Pag meron daw, merong light, they are invisible. Okay? Pag merong light. Kasi nasa dark lang sila na nakikita. Okay? At the same time, yung form of electromagnetic radiation nila ay impossible to detect kahit anong uring optical and astronomical instrument ginagamit ng scientists. Nahihirapan silang i-detect. Okay? Isa yan sa mga sa mga limitation na hindi masyadong na-explain ng Big Bang Theory kaya patuloy pa rin siyang theory hanggang ngayon. Okay, may nakapagsabi nga according to the some research na pag pumasok ka daw sa isang dark matter, okay, you need to be to be concentrated, parang babalik ka ulit sa kung anong pinagmulan mo in terms of science thought or views na babalik ka dun sa molecules. So, kasi nanggaling tayo sa maliliit or the minor molecules, so nanggaling tayo dun sa mga maliliit na particles. So, parang babalik tayo dun pag once na we enter the dark matter. Okay, pag pumasok dun tayo. At malabo daw na pag lumabas ka sa dark matter, makakapunta ka raw sa ibang dimension ng mundo. But malabo daw na mababalik yung buo mong katawan. Okay, parang malabo na maibabalik yung kasi nga 'di ba na confine ka sa small particles. So, ang hirap na daw ibalik yan mamaya kasi nagkaligaw-ligaw na yan or napunta na sa ibang part yung atoms para ma-combine siya ulit. So, malabo. So, yung mga hindi pa masyadong na-explore ng scientists. Kaya, hindi talaga nila literally na approve tong Big Bang Theory, although maraming evidences. Then, the dark energy, on the other hand, is the theoretical repulsive force that causes the universe to expand or get bigger. So, theoretically, so si dark energy naman, siya daw yung dahilan, siya yung force na dahilan kung bakit yung ating universe ay nag-i-expand at nagiging mas malaki siya ng palaki hanggang ngayon. Okay, it's getting bigger. So, ano ba yung composition ngayon? So, kung napapansin natin, sabi nga, hindi daw equal, kaya hindi rin, yun yung isa sa mga limitation ng ating Big Bang na kasi napapansin natin, the dark matter, it's about 73%. Sabi nga natin, the dark energy. So, siya yung dahilan kung bakit, siya yung force, yung dahilan kung bakit nag-expand na expand at lumalaki yung ating universe. And the dark matter itself, it's about around 23%. And the atomic matter is 4.6%, and the light matter is about 0.05%, and the neutrinos is 0.0034%. So, ganun yung composition ng ng ating matter sa universe. Basically, napakarami ng dark matter or dark energy. So, napapansin natin hindi equal. So, doon pa lang, sumablay na yung prediction ng Big Bang Theory. Kasi sabi nga dapat, 'di ba? Sabi nga kanina, homogeneous daw. So, the distribution must be equal. Kung anong part meron dito, at ganun din sa other side. Pero, ngayon, na-discover nila to na ganito yung composition ng universe. So, therefore, as is theory pa rin siya. Okay? So, paano ba na-form yung elements na yan? So, the production of the fundamental subatomic particles. So, basically, yung tatlong subatomic particles natin, the protons, neutrons, and the electrons. So, proton represents the positive charge. The neutrons is the neutral or the uncharged or no charge. And the electron is the negative charge. Okay? So sabi dito, they are theorized. Akala kasi natin the atom is the smallest particle, okay, in the universe. Pero sa loob ng atom, alam naman natin na meron siyang tatlong particles, which is the proton, neutron, and the electron. Without knowing na itong proton, neutrons, and electrons, meron din silang pinanggalingan, which is the quarks. Okay, combination of different quarks, okay, pag nag-combine sila, saka na-create yung protons, neutrons, and electrons natin. So basically, meron bang mas maliliit sa protons, neutrons, and electrons? The quarks, meron pa nga leptons or the hadrons. Okay, marami pa yan. So the nucleons and the collective term of protons and neutrons have fused or combined the heavier nuclear or elements. So, ibig sabihin na nag-fuse yung proton and neutron natin, kaya na-combine yung different elements hanggang sa mga heavier elements yung na-create. So basically, after the Big Bang, so ang unang na-create na elements is the lighter elements, which is the hydrogen and the helium. Kaya nga sila yung una nandun sa ating periodic table. Okay? They are formed through the nuclear fusion. Okay? Pero under siya ng Big Bang theory. So nagkaroon ng nuclear fusion. Kaya na-create tong hydrogen and helium. Okay? So ito ang nangyari. So proton plus neutron. Okay? Pag nagkaroon ng fusion, magki-create yan ng deuterium nucleus. So itong nucleus na to, ito yung, ayan, sa loob ng atom, meron tayong nucleus. Kung saan si nucleus ay meron niyang protons, neutrons, and electron cloud, which is nasa labas, yung electrons. Then, makapag-create na yan ng another form of elements. Then, another. Heavier elements than beryllium, on the other hand, has formed in the stars through a process called the stellar nucleosynthesis. So kung kanina yung light elements natin si hydrogen and si helium ay na-create through the nuclear fusion, so ang mga sumunod na elements naman katulad nila beryllium, pataas hanggang kay sa sunod kay iron, is na-form naman sila through the process of stellar nucleosynthesis. So the elements were formed within the stars as helium continues to combine with the other nuclei, provided that they have an even number of protons. Okay, so kung si sa light sa Big Bang is si hydrogen and helium. So pagdating ng beryllium sa mga susunod na heavier pa, mas may bigat na elements. Okay, so ang tawag doon sa process ay tinatawag na stellar nucleosynthesis. At ang gumagana lang or ang dahilan kung bakit nakapag-form ng mas mabigat pang elements dahil kay helium. Okay, di ba dalawa sila? Ano nangyari kay hydrogen? So sa hydrogen kasi is, siya, di ba add number siya. Basically, 1. So, ibig sabihin, hindi yon. Sabi nga natin pag kung ilang protons, dapat balance daw yung neutrons. So basically, pag walang protons and neutrons, hindi yun makakapag-create ng panibawang elements. So si helium ay merong dalawang atomic number. Okay? So basically, meron protons and neutrons yun. Okay? Even siya. Kaya siya yung continue na nagko-combine ng panibagong helium para makapag-create ng panibagong elements na mas mabigat. Okay? So, anong nangyari kay hydrogen? Si hydrogen is nandun lang, nanatili lang siya doon sa isang matter saan lagi nasa center siya o nasa loob siya lagi. Okay? Kasi si hydrogen siya yung nasa labas, which is siya yung umiikot at patuloy yung nagko-combine sa different elements. Kaya nakapag-create ng panibagong elements. So, ayan, kung napapansin natin, sabihin natin, si helium, si helium yung yung ating carrier ng kung bakit nabuo yung elements. Okay, si helium meron tayo niyang 4 atomic weight. Ayan, atomic number niya is 2. So basically even siya. So basically ano nangyayari sa kanya? So dahil even yung protons and neutrons niya, kaya niyang makipag-combine sa kapwa niya helium. That's why pag nagsama yung 4 na helium, na-create si carbon. Okay, doon na-create yung different elements na nasa periodic table natin. Okay? Then, so dahil na-create na yung carbon, so sabi nga natin, si helium ay paikot-ikot yan sa labas. So definitely, naka-absorb ulit siya ngayon ng helium, panibagong helium na dagdagan to. Basically, ina-add lang yung atomic weight natin. So 4 plus 12, which is equivalent to 16, doon naman na-create yung ating oxygen. So hanggang na-create yung ating moon, ang earth planet natin, and the different planets because of the combination of these elements. Okay, so patuloy yung nag-create. So hanggang maliban lang pagdating kay iron. So tumigil kasi pagdating kay iron. Bakit? Si iron pataas ay mas mabigat na yon. So kailangan na nila ng mas malakas na energy or neutron capture. So paano magkakaroon ng neutron capture? So basically, ito muna mga example ng mga na-produce ni helium habang nagko-combine siya. So after si carbon nagdagdagan ng panibagong helium. So nakapag-produce siya ng oxygen. Si oxygen madadagdagan ulit ng helium, makapag-produce ng neon. And si neon naman makapag-produce ng helium ay magdadagdag ng helium, makakapag-produce ng magnesium. Sa magnesium, mag-add ulit ng helium, silicon. Then sa silicon naman, we have plus helium, produce sulfur. Yung sulfur plus helium will produce argon. Argon plus helium will produce calcium. Then calcium plus helium will produce titanium. And titanium plus helium will produce chromium. So basically, si helium yung dahilan. Okay? Kung bakit nakapag-create ng mas iba pang pangalan or mas ibang elements pa. Basically, nandun galing. Okay? Kasi si helium ay nasa labas siya. At the same time, even yung kanyang atomic weight. So therefore, balance yung protons and the neutrons. So doon na-create yung mga sumunod na elements. So sabi nga natin, pagdating kay iron, tumigil siya. Bakit? Si iron kasi is mabigat na siya. So kung yung kanina is na-create during the stellar nucleosynthesis, so yung mga sumunod, Okay, mga sumunod na elements kay iron, pataas hanggang kay uranium, is na-create na siya because of the neutron capture reaction during the supernova. So, ba itong supernova? Supernova is an explosion of a very massive star. Ayan. So, syempre, dahil yung mga star na yan is combination na yan ng different elements, mga carbon, meron ng mga chromium yan. So, nung sumabog yan, okay, nakadagdag yung energy na nilabas ng pagsabog na yon sa para ma-capture yung different neutrons. Kaya nakapag create ng into a heavier elements. Kaya mas na-create pa yung mas mabibigat na elements kasi nakadagdag yung energy during the explosion. At the same time, yung neutron capture reaction niya nag-take place during the supernovas. Kaya nagkaroon ng rapid radioactive decay kung saan na-decrease lahat ng number of neutrons. Then, ibig sabihin bumaba yung neutron niya. So, dahil sa radioactive decay kasi may malaking pagsabog, definitely, hindi na kailangan mas mataas na energy. Okay? Kaya na-create tong heavier elements. So, doon naman na-create yung iron pataas through the supernovas. Ayan. So, kung napapansin natin, ito yung red giant star. Sabi nga natin, dahil combination yan ng mga different elements. So, ibig sabihin marami ng elements to. Hindi lang helium, hindi lang hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, silicon, iron, nickel, and so on. So, nung sumabog to, okay, anong nangyari? So, the massive star near the end of the lifetime has an onion-like structure just prior to the exploding as the supernova. Example of nuclear reaction that build neutron-rich isotopes. So, dahil sumabog tong massive star at maraming elements yan, nakapag-create ng mas heavier elements. Okay? Yung ating universe. Kaya nag-combine na mag-combine ulit yan. Ayun, nakapag-create ng mas heavier than the iron. So, sabi nga natin, so yun yung last part ng atin. Sabi nga na huwag nating kalimutan na sa part ng katawan ng tao, we are made of different elements. So, huwag nating kalimutan na yung mga elements na yan ay nanggaling yan sa universe, which is came from the Big Bang Theory. Okay, so that is the end of this lesson. I hope you learned something about the first lesson for this week. So, pwede niyong ulitin tong panoorin o you can have other videos or references para mas maintindihan natin lalo, okay, kung anong meron sa formation of the different elements from light to heavier elements. So thank you and I hope it's clear, and if you have a clarification, just approach me through online, okay? You unmessage me. Thank you and God bless.